Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ashley Pearson Khan with Muslimi, and I'm sitting down with Sheikh Ammar Alshukry. Hope I said that all right. All right. Thank you for joining me today.
Alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to be here. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's it going, Ashley?
Alhamdulillah, it's good. It's good. It's been a while since I've seen you. You've been traveling a lot. Where have you been since, let's see, when did I see you last? What month was that?
So it was a couple of months ago here in Toronto.
That's right.
I don't remember. I mean, it was an event with Miftah
Pearl
here.
of Faith.
Pearls of Faith. And I don't remember what month it was, but it was a couple of months ago.
I don't remember either.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
It's all a blur.
Since then, I've been traveling. I went to Palestine with Al-Maghrib. We have a traveling now voyages, I guess, project. It's called Blessed Voyage. So we went to Palestine. Alhamdulillah, we spent like a week there. It was amazing. It was beautiful. And then from there, I went to Egypt for like a day, and then I went to Sudan with my family and spent like 10 days in Sudan, and then came back. Came back on Wednesday, and on Thursday flew to Toronto, and I'm here.
Wow. So you haven't been in Houston much? I
spent like a good 12 hours in Houston.
12 hours?
I spent a good 12 hours in Houston. And then I flew over here, alhamdulillah. Dealing with jet lag and stuff like that, but we're good, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. You share some of your travels on your Instagram, I see.
Yes.
So showing everybody where you're at.
I mean, just trying to share some of these experiences. I mean, it's beautiful, especially Sudan. A lot of people they're not familiar with it.
Right.
So I love sharing, especially my village, like where the type of lifestyle that we have there, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. How often do you go back to Sudan?
So I try every year to go, but I don't get to go every year. So it ends up being like once every 2 years or something like that. So this time I didn't go for like 4 years because of COVID.
Yeah, right. I really liked your post where you were talking to your great uncle about, he asked you about camel milk. Do you want to tell that story? I just thought it was funny.
So he just came up to me. He said, Ahmad, do you have camel milk in America? And I said, no, because we don't have a lot of camels. I mean, you can get your hand on camel milk. I have, but it's just very expensive. But I told him, almond milk is readily available. And he was like, what's almond milk? And I tried to explain almond milk, and then he just started laughing and he walked off. It's when you go there, it's like, to me, it's very anchoring. It's kind of like there's things that are just so simple, like things that are so convoluted here and complex and debated and stuff like that. You go there and it's just like simple.
Simple life.
Yeah, and it just reminds you of, things that are just really basic. Like at the end of the day, what is almond milk?
That would be kind of a nice breath of fresh air, just to kind of get away from everything here sometimes in like North America, the hustle and bustle, and just kind of go where maybe things are a little more simple.
Yeah, it's simple in one aspect, and then it's a lot more challenging in other aspects. So, they have their own challenges that are, sometimes just living day to day. It's just very, very challenging, like just things being very expensive and commodities being very expensive. But again, all it does is it gives you more perspective, and it makes you appreciate things. So I end up appreciating a lot of things here, and I don't take them for granted because you're familiar with how difficult they are to obtain in other parts of the world. Right. And Sudan isn't the only place. I mean, I'm sure many people, when they travel, they get to experience that. And so, and at the same time, you get to appreciate things there that they might take for granted because, you see the effects of its absence here. Like, for example, the idea of a big family. Yeah. I mean, there you just kind of let your kids go in the village, not necessarily in the major cities, but in the village, you kind of just let your kids go, and they're running all day, and you don't really have to worry about them. There's always somebody looking out for them and taking care of them. And,
here,
and that's
can't
beautiful. Do that. No, you can't.
Your kid can't walk down the street alone.
Can't walk out. Can't spend the night at somebody's house.
So growing up, since we're talking about family and everything, did you have anybody who was somebody you looked up to, an inspiration for you? Or maybe
growing up?
Yeah. Or somebody who inspires you now?
I mean, I have lots of people who inspired me. Growing up, I had family members who inspired me. I had, one gentleman who just passed away, actually. When I was a kid, he was, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was like in college. I might have been like 4 or 5 years old. He bought me my first console. And I never.
You gonna tell us what it is?
Huh?
What was the console? Because it'll like.
You're gonna try to date me?
You, yeah.
No, I don't play those games.
I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
So but it was funny because I just never forgot it, and I would always tell him, like, up until he passed away this year, rahimahullah. But just the idea that a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old could, for me, like, be so inspired by just such a simple gesture. Mm-hmm. It just reminds you that a lot of times you might overlook like the emotions of a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, but really a gesture that you do for them could literally capture their heart for the rest of their life or for the rest of your life. And so for me, he was someone that I looked up to. I had friends in high school that were very instrumental in my being attracted to Islam, mm-hmm. just because of their strength, their courage, their personalities. They had strong personalities, and they used those strong personalities in their love of Islam and their presentation of Islam. Yeah.
What were you like in high school?
What was I like in high school? I was the sarcastic kid. I can't really fit myself in a category. Like, I wasn't really like a jock. I mean, I played sports in high school, but I wasn't necessarily like a jock. I was one of the smarter kids, although I wasn't like, and I wasn't like an artsy kid or anything like that. I think I just kind of existed in high school. I wasn't like,
Did you go to a big high school?
No, I didn't. I went to a private school. I went to a small private school in New York. It's one of the trade-offs that my parents did. They definitely didn't want us to go to public school. But there weren't any Islamic schools, so we didn't go to an Islamic school. So we just went to a normal private school. They were just like, we're going to try to protect you as best as we can. And that was it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, high school for me, even when I was in high school, I just felt like it was a big waste of time.
Yeah. I forgot you grew up in New York, right?
Yeah.
So when did you move from New York?
I moved from New York almost 9 years ago now. Okay. And I moved to Houston.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And you moved to Houston for work?
Yeah. Al-Maghrib had a headquarters, or has a headquarters in Houston. Mm-hmm. And so I moved to Houston for Al-Maghrib, and alhamdulillah, it's just been, since then, just settled in Houston.
Yeah. How do you like it? Because I feel like it's a pretty big jump from north to south.
I mean, I like it, alhamdulillah. I mean, it's been great. I mean, is it a big jump? I always felt like I
think of the weather.
The weather, somebody once explained it to me nicely. He's like, listen, every country, every city that you live in, it's going to have its amazing season, and it's going to have its, you got to suck it up season. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the north, the suck it up season is in the winter time. And if you're in the south, it's in the summer. In the wintertime, it's beautiful. So in the winter, in the south, it's like 70 degrees, 75 degrees. Mm-hmm. It's really nice. Yeah. So,
and if you get a fall, it's nice. When I was growing up in the south, we had nice falls. Now it's usually from summer to winter. There's almost no fall weather.
I feel like that's everywhere though.
Yeah.
Like, we're not getting 4 seasons anymore. Yeah. You're going from, even in the north, you're going from winter straight into summer.
Yeah. Now Toronto's had a pretty mild summer, I think, personally.
So does that mean you're going to have a strong winter?
That's what I'm worried about. So.
Yeah, I mean, you made the transition the opposite way, right? You went from Arkansas to...
Yeah, but the cold never bothered me anyway.
Is that an Elsa line that you just dropped on us?
But it's true. It's true for me. I was wondering if you're
going to... Frozen line on us.
So you wear a lot of hats. You do a lot of things. You travel a lot. What would you want to be remembered for?
I mean, that's a
tough question.
I mean, it's an interesting question, but I don't know about being remembered. Sheikh Muhammad, it's interesting. Sheikh Muhammad Al-Sharif, rahimahullah, who just passed away a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I just saw an interview clip where he was asked a similar question. And he said, I don't really care how I mean to be remembered because I'll be dead. So but he was like, what is important, and I agree with this, what's important is whether Allah accepts you when you pass away or not. If Allah accepts you when you pass away, then even if nobody remembers you, I mean, millions of people, when they pass away, they're not remembered. Nobody knows who they are.
It's true.
But if Allah accepts, then that's all that matters. But at the same time, you do want, inshallah, for people to hopefully have been positively affected by your presence here. So
it's like if people are going to remember you, you want it to be positive, right? That's the thing.
And that's one of the the explanations of Ibrahim's dua when he says, and make for me lisana sidqin fil akhirin, make for me like a statement of truth amongst those who will follow after me, like let me be of those who are praised. And so what would I hope to be remembered by or about? So if it's my family, I hope that it's that I'm someone consistent on the inside with regards to my inside being better than my outside. So whatever portrayal or image I have outside, I hope that my family, those who know me intimately, have a better share of whatever it is that I have to offer, that they have the best version of that, whether it's my siblings, whether it's my spouse, whether it's my children, whether it's my mom, whether it's my relatives. I hope that they have the best share of whatever it is that I have to offer the world.
What is the most memorable moment of your career?
The most memorable moment of my career?
Is there a moment that stands out that maybe somebody said something to you, or you learned something, or witnessed something?
Not really. A memorable moment, the most memorable moments of my career? I can't think of any particular one. Maybe just because this is what's popping up in my mind right now. Maybe like the first khutbah that I gave.
Mm-hmm. Were you nervous?
Very.
I would be.
And it was in college, and I had a friend of mine who was like an upperclassman and I was a lower classman, or is it the opposite? Yeah, I was a lower classman, I was like a freshman, or no, I was a sophomore and he was like a senior. Mm-hmm. And he used to give khutbahs all the time. He was on the rotation. And so he told me, he said, this week I want you to give the khutbah. And he told me that on Thursday. So I spent like all of Thursday night writing up my khutbah. And I remember the khutbah itself. Mm-hmm. And I gave it and I was shaking like this. Even though my voice was steady, like I was calm, mm-hmm. but my hands were just shaking uncontrollably. And then when I gave the khutbah, and then after the salah was over, people they just gave me so much support and encouragement and things like that, that it just, I just continued giving khutbah from there. And it just, like, I realized that I have a talent for this, like I have a skill for this. So alhamdulillah. Did your hands ever shake again when you went to go? So the next time that I gave a khutbah was probably like 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. I secured a podium just so that my hands didn't shake for the khutbah. But then my legs started shaking. Oh my gosh. So I'm standing there and my hands are steady, but my legs started shaking. It was like I had all this nervous energy. I think it's better if your hands shake than you might, if your legs start shaking. Yeah, my leg was shaking. And again, my voice is steady. So unless someone's like really paying attention to me, mm-hmm. and they're just listening to the khutbah, it was fine. Yeah. But my legs started shaking, and but then after that, I got used to it. Alhamdulillah, I was okay after that. That's good. Yeah. That's probably the most memorable one that I can think of, just because it was the first. Now you travel all over and speak and yeah. Now I don't get as nervous. Yeah, as nervous. You still get a little nervous every now and then. Yeah, I think you get nervous if it's something that's new or if it's something that you're not as comfortable with. But if you're comfortable in your element, then I don't get too nervous. From the interactions I've had with you, you seem like a very quiet, reserved person. Are you an introvert? I think I am an introvert, or I'm one of those people who can be an introvert and can be extroverted. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I can be extroverted if I need to be, and I can also be introverted. I'm like fine. Like the pandemic for me was no problem. For me, I was a huge extrovert at the time, and I think that the pandemic made me an introverted extrovert because it drove me just nuts for a while. I thought, when can I go out? It's like being trapped. So yeah, I didn't feel trapped at all. I was perfectly fine. Yeah, alhamdulillah. And then, but at the same time, I feel like I can walk into a room and I can be engaging and I can be, happy with people and stuff. I'm not like sitting there in a corner, like avoiding conversations with people. So aside from, of course, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who is maybe another prophet or messenger that, kind of connect with? If you had said a companion, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, you can go with that. Yeah.
So companions, like among the companions, one that I've always been attracted to is the one who I was named after, obviously, Ammar ibn Yasir. I just, part of it is that naming, of course, that you create that connection, but you know, his personality, even like his physical stature, he wasn't a big guy. I'm not like some huge guy. He was someone who, you know, went through a lot as far as trauma goes. Your mother's killed in your presence, his father as well. They're persecuted. So for me, and at the same time, Ammar ibn Yasir is someone whom the Prophet ﷺ said the truth will be with Ammar when it's talking about the end of his life, that he'll be killed by the oppressive party, like Ammar will be on the side of truth. So in any case, Ammar ibn Yasir is one that I was very attracted to. And then at the same time, Ali ibn Abi Talib for me has always been a companion that I've loved very much because of, I mean, just, he's got it all. Like, to me, it's like he's got the knowledge, he's got the poetry, he's the undefeated warrior. He's, you know, when you look at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ and you just see all of these amazing moments of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And at the same time, he wasn't that physical, you know, imposing figure that Umar ibn Khattab was or Khalid ibn al-Walid was, but it was just something that was in him. He was lion-hearted for real. And so I always loved Ali radiallahu anhu. Even the name I love. But my only thing with Ali is that, because I'm always debating on whether I should name my, you know, a future son Ali. Like, is that a name that, because my dad, rahimahullah, his name was Ali. So I have that pressure of like, are you going to name Ali? Ali in English, I'm not the biggest fan. Ali.
Yeah.
With all due respect to the champ, Muhammad Ali, rahimahullah, I'm just not the biggest fan of the way that it's pronounced in English. So I love it in Arabic, but in English, I don't know. So I got to figure that out.
I know you're busy, but are you reading anything that you think other people should read? Or maybe a book you've read in the past that you just thought, man, this is really good?
So I just went to, made a stop in Egypt, and I got this book. There's an author that I always go back to whenever I'm preparing a lot of stuff. And his name is Hussein al-Affani. And this guy is just like a encyclopedia. Any topic that he researches, he'll get everything that's ever been said about this topic. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but he'll get you like. And so he has this book that I'm very excited about. It's 13 volumes that I was able to bring back with me, and it's called.
In your suitcase?
Yeah, we had a number of suitcases, the family, so we had to separate it. But it's about ulu al-himma, so it's about ambition. But it's basically 13 volumes on any topic that you're looking for. He has the most ambitious statements, the most ambitious, you know, moments from the lives of the companions and the lives of heroes of the Muslim world and things like that. So if you're looking, for example, on the topic of generosity, let's say you have something on generosity, you go and you look into that book and you'll find the most amazing quotations, the most amazing stories of generosity, the most amazing. And so I am very excited to have that book now. I had the PDFs, but the PDFs aren't like having the actual collection. So now that I've got the collection, I got to make some space for it. And yeah, I have this collection now.
13 volumes.
13 volumes. Yep.
How long do you think it'll take for you to get through that?
I'm gonna most likely use it like for research as opposed to just going through it from cover to cover. But I'm really happy to have the opportunity to get lost in it. That's the plan.
You've been here at Muslim Fest.
Yes.
Speaking and hopefully enjoying and doing all the things. But what's next? So
I just spent a good month traveling. So now coming back, just gonna probably spend like a couple of weeks in Houston and just get resettled. We have, at Al-Maghrib, we've started to do on-site seminars again. We weren't doing on-site seminars, obviously, for COVID for a long time. And now they're coming back. And hopefully we'll start having them in Toronto again. I know we have a course with Sheikh Ammar Alshukry coming to Toronto. And I hopefully will start traveling again and doing seminars. I'm not sure when. And really just continuing to expand our production, Al-Maghrib Productions. We've started doing YouTube series and different projects like that. Trying to create really relevant content. Last Ramadan, I was able to do a Ramadan series on Maryam alayhi salam, and hopefully we'll see about this Ramadan and creating other types of programs. So we'll see, inshallah.
Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully,
you're welcome so much.
We'll see you back in Toronto soon, inshallah. You never know.
I'm proud of you for saying Toronto correctly. I'm sure you were coached to say Toronto and not Toronto.
I've learned that if you're from Toronto, that you say it that way. If you're not from Toronto, you say Toronto.
Exactly.
I want to, fake it till I make it.
You want to sound like a local. So alhamdulillah.
All right.
Long way from Arkansas, mashallah.
That's true.
Mashallah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, everyone who watched the video. Stay tuned for more. We've got more interviews and content coming to you. So make sure you follow us on all socials and check out our website. Assalamu alaikum.